Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Miguel back again with another video, and today we have the Honor X7 in our hands, which not only are we going to quickly unbox but also compare it with another phone that falls in the lower mid-range. The phone that we are going to be comparing it is with the Samsung Galaxy A13 5G. But before we do that, let's quickly unbox the X7. Now, looking at this thick boy box, we can tell that this phone is loaded. The variant that we have here today comes with 4 gigs of RAM, although this also comes in a 6 gig variant. It also has 128 gigs of internal storage, which is expandable by a micro SD card. The color that we have today is called Ocean Blue, which is perhaps the most desirable color, and this also is available in a titanium silver and black color. Opening up the box, we have the phone in front of us. Right below it, we have a booklet, which I am happy to report that this actually comes with a silicone case. And I'd like to point out here that the reason a lot of these phones have these covers with them is because it's not easy to find aftermarket covers. So pretty much this is the only case that you will be getting. Right behind it, we have the charger, and this is a 22.5 watt charger, which is great, but we've seen other Honor phones with 66 watts of fast charging, which I would have loved to see, but at this price point, I wouldn't be complaining since we are at least getting a charger. We also have a regular USB to USB-C cable here, and also something that I did not expect to see in this phone is a pair of headphones. Okay, we just lost that. Never mind. So this means that the X7 is also coming with a 3.5mm audio jack. Now, looking at the phone itself, build-wise, this is made of plastic, which is not really cheap plastic, I would say, and it feels pretty solid in the hand without any flexing or creaking. The design of the X7 takes a lot of inspiration from the Honor 50, except the Honor 50 has a full metal body. On the bottom, we have a stereo speaker, a USB-C port, and the audio jack. On the right side here, we have the volume rocker as well as the power button, which has a fingerprint sensor embedded into it. The SIM tray does support 2 SIMs, so you can either put in 2 SIMs or you can put in 1 SIM with the micro SD card. But one thing that I should point out here is that the micro SD card is only expandable to up to 512 gigs instead of 1 terabyte. On the A13, the layout is almost exactly the same. We have a stereo speaker, a USB-C port, and a 3.5mm audio jack. And on the right-hand side, we also have the volume rocker and the power button, which again is also embedded with a fingerprint sensor. The SIM tray also supports 2 SIMs or a micro SD card and a SIM, and you can put in a 1 terabyte micro SD card on the A13. One thing to keep in mind when looking at the build of both phones is that Samsung has started to add IP ratings to its A series lineup. So yeah, the A13 comes with IP67 dust and water resistance, while Honor hasn't introduced any IP ratings apart from a couple of their flagship phones. Price-wise, the X7 starts at around 600 dirhams if you go for the 4 gig variant and 700 dirhams for the 6 gig variant, which is really cheap. For comparison's sake, the A13 5G comes in at around 900 dirhams. Converting it to US dollars, the X7 falls in at around $190. Moving to the actual phone now, the first sign of price cuts are seen on the display of the X7. Honor did save a little bit of money by adding a traditional IPS HD+, not full HD 720 LCD panel. Surely it's not the brightest with the best colors, but Honor did manage to put a 90Hz display, which is good to see at this price point. Although I would have personally preferred a better resolution display with 60Hz refresh rate. Samsung's A13 is no different here. It also contains a 720 LED panel with 90Hz refresh rate, although it is a TFT. So display-wise, both are pretty much the same. The display on both of the devices cuts into a teardrop design front camera, and both of them have a relatively thick bezel at the bottom. When it comes to performance, the X7 comes in with Snapdragon 680 chip, which is exactly what I would have expected at this price point. The chip isn't really made for hardcore gaming, but it's good enough, and it actually pairs pretty well with Honor's Magic UI. Honor was previously coming in with Kirin chips, which were being supplied by Huawei, but it seemed the chip shortage may have forced Honor to take Snapdragon. comparing to the A13, which comes with MediaTek's Dimensity 700 chip, which again is not a chip made for hardcore use, but it will very easily get you by. We did do an Antutu benchmark on both of these phones, and the X7 scored at 245,000 points, whereas the A13 came up at around 258,000 points, which isn't too much of a difference, but it may be because of the variant that we have with the X7 is 4 gigs of RAM and the A13 has 8 gigs of RAM. But there's one major difference in both, and that is the connectivity and the carrier support. Now, while Honor is not a phone that's banned or has sanctions like its big brother Huawei, the X7 comes in with only 4G connectivity, while the A13 comes in with 5G. The X7 comes with Honor's Magic UI, which is based on Android 11, and it does come with full Google software support. So it's nice to see that, but the downside here is that Honor will only give you 2 years of security updates, while Samsung will provide you with a solid 4 years. Coming down to the battery life, both the X7 and the A13 have 5,000 milliamperes battery, which is great to see. This means that you'll really need to try and struggle to drain the battery, because I did a test where I did nothing but watch videos all day on a 4G connection, and I was still able to squeeze about 35% battery by the end of the day. And although the X7 does support 22.5 watts of fast charging, it will only do so if you use the actual cable and charger that comes with it. And this applies to almost all X series Honor phones, which is kind of a downside. Finally, discussing the camera, you would think that Huawei's history of Leica partnerships, you would see somewhat of a decent camera here, but well, there's no really easy way to say it. I hope no one decides to buy the X7 for its camera. In fact, the phone may have done better without a camera at all. And I know that that may be a little bit harsh, but apart from the main camera, the presence of a rear camera is mostly aesthetic. We have a 48 megapixel main camera, and the rest, well, just ignore them honestly. The main camera offers decent images provided that you have proper lighting, so you're good for social media, daytime photography, and even though Huawei and Honor are kind of pioneers at nighttime photography, the nighttime photography was really bad on the X7. But keeping in mind the target audience of this smartphone, which is certainly not that of photography fans, I wouldn't really worry about it. Coming to a conclusion of to which of these two phones you should buy, well, I think it's pretty obvious. The lack of 5G, no IP rating, a less than average camera, and the fact that you only get 2 years of security patches points you in the right directions towards the A13. And at only 300 dirhams more, you're getting IP67 rating, a 5G connectivity, a better camera, and also 4 years of Samsung security updates. Seems like the way to go. Now, there are other honorable phones from Honor. Get it? Honorable? Honor? No? Bad joke? Okay, I'll stop. Anyways, there are other phones like the X8 and the X9, which are slightly better in some places than the X7. You can also compare the A13 to these two phones, but at the same time, the X8 kind of seems like a bit of a downgrade to me, because it has the exact same specs as the X7 with just a slightly better camera and battery that only has 4,000 milliamperes instead of 5,000. The X9 is also a worthy opponent here with the 1080p display and 120Hz refresh rate. Still no AMOLED display, but you do get a better chip, but then you're driving up the cost to over 1,000 dirhams if you opt for the 5G variant. And you also don't get any IP dust or water resistance rating on any of them. But if that doesn't really bother you and you want a slightly better camera, then go for the X9. And I don't want to sound like I'm hating on Honor here. Honor makes very good phones as well, and at this price point, you're getting it all. The X7 is a perfectly good phone for regular use, or for those people that aren't really looking for hype and performance. And unless you're on a very strict budget, then go for the X7. Oops. And if not, then I think the A13 5G is the obvious wise choice here. Anyways guys, that is it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comments below what your thoughts are and what phone you would actually go with. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.